Here we go. We are live, episode 4. Please leave the DJ alone. I'm coming with the hitters right now, man. I got a good friend of mine in studio today, Big Ben, a.k.a. DJ Bijou. What's going on, bro?
What
How you feeling?
I feel great.
Awesome, man.
I feel great. I've seen you 2 weeks in a row.
I know this is crazy, man. I feel like we're coming fairly close here. Is that weird?
I like it.
Okay, me too. All right, so let's get over that. Coming with the heavy hitters, like I said, man, a name that is no surprise to anybody. This guy's absolutely crushing the game. Had a huge record recently, touring the world. Why don't you give the people a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
I'm Ben, a.k.a. Bijou, from Tempe, Arizona. I've known you for years.
Yeah.
I'm a G-House DJ, as they say. I mix gangster rap with house music.
Yeah, man. So for those of you that have not heard and you're living under a rock, my man kind of mixes, a blend of hip-hop and house music. One of my favorites out there. And
Thank you.
Yeah, man, you're crushing the game. Always got some funkiness to it. A lot of EDM DJs aren't really into hip-hop, or if they are, it kind of feels like a little bit of a fabrication sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
We could just say it's fake.
It's fake, yeah. But you genuinely come with some heaters, some bangers. The last record you just put out with Martin Horger, right? That's the name?
Yeah, I know. Sonny on Sonny Fodera's label, Solo Toco, last year. We did a whole tour around it.
Amazing. Record was great.
Thank you.
We recently had the chance to hang out at a party and kind of get to know each other a little bit more. And you're a weird dude, man. I like that.
I'm a lot weirder than people think. Like, people see me as just like this like pretty boy DJ guy, but like I'm actually kind of just like a quiet nerd that loves Ric Flair.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we definitely got into that. So recently we went to a bachelor party together. A mutual friend of ours, shout out to Tommy, sat there at this party with a bunch of dudes and basically watched wrestling for about 8 hours.
That was my fault for sure.
It was fun. We were watching the classics. We were watching WrestleMania cage fights. We were watching Ric Flair. And if you've never seen Ric Flair, you got to do yourself some justice and go and Google Ric Flair, because dude is out there. What's the fascination with wrestling for you?
It started as a child because I was rebellious and it was weird. My dad would let us watch these crazy fucked up movies and all this kind of shit, but we couldn't watch wrestling. So anything they were like, you can't do, we did it.
For sure.
And I knew my dad was super into wrestling. Like, he loved Lanny Poffo. He's like, yeah, the world's smartest man. He was like super into Lanny Poffo.
That's a deep cut, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what era is Lenny Poffo? Like,
way before us.
Yeah. I watched wrestling as a kid. I remember one of my earliest memories, I was at some type of summer camp and everyone was dressing up like their favorite wrestler. And one of the gal counselors or whatever the fuck it was, she dressed up like the Ultimate Warrior. And
Sick.
That, I immediately started my infatuation with the Ultimate Warrior. But my era was the Hulk Hogan's, Andre the Giant's, Undertaker's, that kind of stuff. What was your era?
Dude, that was it. Like, when SmackDown was on Channel 45 and shit like that, like The Undertaker, we have Triple H, Ric Flair, like, yo, fucking Austin 316.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, you smash some beers together.
Crushing it, dude. On was it WCW or whatever?
Yeah.
And that was like a time period in wrestling where it was...
it was on but he was always on Monday Night Raw.
That's right. Okay.
Always, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I was more of like a WWE, WWF guy. I don't know why. I just kind of leaned more towards that, and I never really caught the Austin 316 train and that kind of stuff. Maybe I was getting a little older as that, but I absolutely loved Undertaker, Jake the Snake. My buddy just met Jake the Snake recently, and I was like, oh, come on, man. I want to meet Jake the Snake.
That's cool.
Yeah, so...
I always wanted to meet Kurt Angle.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's the man. I mean, he still looks good. He's 150 years old now, right? But
yeah, but I was like, I want to know if in real life he's really that weird. Because if you think about it, he's such a weird dude on the show.
Yeah.
Like, is he really that weird? Because if he was, we could probably be friends.
For sure. Do you see a parallel between wrestling and DJs?
100%.
I feel like we're both degenerates. You know what I mean? At the beginning of your wrestling career, you're not really getting chipped out. You know what I mean?
No.
You're getting like, a Big Mac and maybe a dressing room if you got that shit.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like DJing. What's the amenities like for you on the road right now? Are they hooking you up? You looking good back there or what?
They're pretty nice, I will say. We got like 4-star hotels everywhere we go. Sometimes you'll get a 5-star. I get to fly first class quite often.
Nice.
I wouldn't say it's because they pay for it. It's because I fly so much, so I get the free upgrades.
That's how you do
Like, I can't complain. We have a driver everywhere we go. They pay for dinner, shit like that. It's really nice.
Now, is that the last couple years that it's kind of been developing like that? I mean, I've seen you get your start and kind of rise up and you know, still continue to rise. Is that you know, one of your favorite things, seeing the new perks? I mean,
Yeah, that stuff is cool, but it's like it's always nice when you go to a smaller town and you're in like a shitty hotel and you're like, oh yeah, this is how it all started.
you're a sick fuck.
It takes you back. It humbles you because you'll get used to these really nice hotels and these Escalade cars and this, and it's like that's not what it's all about. Like,
Right.
to me, it's all about the music. You know, it's like we got into this because of music. That's why we do it. All that other shit just comes with it. You know, so it's like, to me, I'm like, I don't want to get caught up in all this shit because that's not real life. That's life on the road.
Right.
You know, which is way different than being at home.
Yeah, things have changed a lot, man. I hate going back to the old guy mentality and, hey, when I got started and all this shit. But I've recently been transferring over actually a bunch of tapes over there of 8mm back in the day, you know, 20 something years ago when I first started raving, and just watching how far everything's come, man. It's just mind blowing. It's like, you know, they had the par cans and there's, you know, 8 million people smoking cigs next to you. And, you know what I mean? You got a box fan, hopefully, as, you know.
I saw you when you first started raving, but I didn't
shit.
get to see it in person.
Oh man, this is fucked up. So you got to tell this story, dude. So I'll help you out here. There's some videos out there, okay, of some AZ raves and shit, and this guy hits me one night. I'm over here partying, and he goes, "Hey man, were you partying back in like 2000?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes,
Check this out.
check this out, and sends me this video, and this video is me, someone handed me some type of light sticks or something and was like, do a light show to the camera. So I look absolutely ridiculous. Not only that, but I had just gotten out of basic training and I had these things on called BCGs, birth control glasses, right? That's what they call these things. And the vibe is that, you know, they want you to all be the same when you're in basic training, and these things are absolutely horrendous. No one will fuck you in these glasses, but somehow this dude finds this deep tape on the internet and he goes, absolutely going on my tour visuals. So wow, what were you why?
So
how did
like,
you find that?
here's what I was doing, right? So I was literally sourcing all of these things. It's like everything in regards to visuals and dance music. I don't want to say everything, but like 95% is like all this 3D stuff, and it's all the same.
Yeah.
And like I've always strived to do something different, and I was like, let's do some real life shit. So like I was like, how about parts from my life when I was younger? So like when I was raving, when I was skating. So I found like all these Thrasher videos from people skating and bombing these hills in San Fran. And I was like, all right, AZ rave scene, let me look it up. And I was just looking at all these old school videos from AZ raves, and I was like, wait a minute, I know this guy. And I was like, what? It was random. And I was just like, holy shit, how did I find this?
You're like, I got this, man.
Yeah. And it was like, unfortunately, it did not end up in the tour visuals, which I think I told you. It's
good.
like I sent it to my guy to put everything together because I sourced all the content for it. And just was like, all right, turn this into an hour set and make it work.
Yeah.
And like mix it with my other visuals and shit like that. And he was like, yeah, the quality of it is so shitty. It's literally going to look like just a giant blur on the screen.
Because it was recorded in like 380 or whatever, fucking on a razor
Yeah,
phone
he's like,
or something.
it's not going to work on an LED wall. And I was like, find a way. And he
For
was like,
sure.
I can't make it work. And I was like, all right, well, I love you, but that sucks.
So what? Okay, so I watch James Hype's channel on YouTube a lot, and
Yeah.
it gives a great insight to what it takes to not only tour but put together the team that takes care of your visuals and everything else that you need to do.
Yeah.
And I've already talked to you, and you said you kind of travel alone most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe tell us a little bit about your team. What's the process like when you know you got a new idea and you say, hey, I want to roll this out. I'm playing it wherever in LA this weekend. What's your process like there?
So with those types of situations, so like my team is made up of probably 5 to 6 people. So we have Thomas, who oversees everything. He was the one who initially signed me to Relentless. Then we have Daniel, who does my day-to-day. We have Josh, who does some day-to-day, and he's a label manager. Then we have Rob, who's my agent. Then we have his assistant, Jules. And then I also have a whole business management team as well. So
Nice.
it's like
Wow.
7 people.
Yeah.
You know? So what I would do is if I come up with these ideas, it used to be the type of thing where like, I'd be like, holy shit, we got to do this. And I'd start calling like, yo, Daniel, we got to do this, this, and this. And he'd be like, bro, you're stressing me out. Like, if you're going to bring these ideas, like, put the idea on paper, right? Get the whole plan together, and then present it to me.
Sure.
Because then I'm going to be like, oh, this is a whole fucking put together plan, not just like a mumbled idea that you just came up with 5 minutes ago that might suck.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, you're creative. That's how it works. You start barfing ideas.
Exactly. That's how like creatives are. Like I feel like artists just in general, no matter what they do, it's just like, yo, I got this crazy idea. I got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're inspired by that. So now what I do is, it's funny because this just happened today, right? So what I'll do is I'll send a text out. I'll be like, hey, I have this idea. I want to present it to you. Here's why I think it'll work. And then typically they'll call me, ask me why and more about it, and then be like, all right, put together the whole plan. We're open to this idea. And 9 out of 10 times when I do that, it works.
That's interesting, man.
You know, it's a process, and I think sometimes those crazy ideas that are split second, they work so well, but then there's also the ones that just crash and burn.
Sure.
You know, and I think it's better when you come with a full drawn out plan, especially maybe early on in a career, like say 5 years ago, I'm like, yo, we got these crazy sporadic ideas. Let's just like throw shit against the wall and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. But now like everything has to be really, really strategically planned.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I kind of understand what you're saying. When I have ideas for the club and stuff like that, and I want to roll them out, I've had to learn how to package that because creatives are nutcases essentially, and we just start barfing ideas. And not that other people that I work with aren't creatives, but it's hard for them to understand when I come with this left field idea and say, hey, this is what we're running with now. Got it, go. And so you kind of have to almost create a vision board and explain to your people, hey, this is why we're doing it. This is the artist that we're doing it with, or in your case, you, and then move forward. But I've had to learn to do that because I've definitely fell down a few times with my team, and they haven't understood the process. So
Totally, but you got to fail to learn.
Yeah.
I think that's something people are so afraid of these days. Is like, this is frustrating. So, like, everyone wins nowadays, right? Everyone gets a fucking trophy, no matter what, if they win or they lose. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
And I think it's wrong because if you don't lose, what do you learn? If you win every single time, imagine like for 20 years of your life, all you do is win, and you've never felt that feeling of failing.
Yeah.
When you fail for the first time when you're 20 years old, you're going to be so overwhelmed and fucked up, I think, that you're going to be like, what's going on? You're going to feel like life might be over, and I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like taking those losses with your team or by yourself are so crucial because you're like, all right, I learned from this. This is why it didn't work. Now I can pivot to the next idea and figure out why it will work.
Absolutely. And I feel like we're kind of in an age of toxic positivity. I like to say that.
Yeah.
And I think it's negativity is misunderstood a lot of times. I feel like balance is a word that's commonly used for everyone. And I feel like you can't really appreciate the positives and the wins if you don't sit there and kind of stew in the negatives for a while. Would you agree?
Yeah, you got to go through some shit sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like treading through those, like, the mud, I guess you could say, it makes you appreciate the wins even more. You know, but, like, this career is, like, so up and down. Like, one moment you can be like, oh, man, this is fucked up. Some crazy shit's happening, and it's just awful, right? And then one thing can change, and you're way up here.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like a roller coaster. So you have
extreme
to be
highs, extreme lows.
Yeah. So it's like you have to find the balance. And like I've talked to other artists, and they're like, "Nah, there's no such thing as balance in this." And I'm like, "Your life sounds miserable."
For sure, you're gonna fizzle out.
Yeah. Like you're gonna stress yourself out so bad that like you're gonna get sick. You're gonna get a disease. Like I'm not wishing this on anyone.
Right.
But like I've seen it happen. And you're just gonna fuck yourself up, and you're just gonna be so destroyed that you don't even know what to do with life.
You got to figure out a way to be healthy. I know your diet and lifestyle. You're generally a very healthy guy, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
What's your routine when you're on the road? I mean, are you one of those assholes that goes and works out on the road when you're?
Not as much as I used to, because like I'm kind of insane to where like if I got a Friday, Saturday show, I'll still get up on the Friday morning before the flight and go to the gym. So now I got 5 days in at the gym.
Okay.
You know, Monday through Friday, and I'll get it in. If it's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday show, I'll get up Thursday and hit the gym, and then I'll try to get something in on the weekend. Typically, I'll take like the Friday and Saturday off. Sunday, get home and be like, all right, I'm going to rest and then go work out.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy because this is going to sound insane. Sometimes on the road, if there's not quality food, I just won't eat. I'll literally just fast.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of intense. Or I'll just eat like snacks.
Like squirrel food?
Pretty much.
Twigs and berries and shit.
Yeah.
That's how he maintains his girlish figure on the road. Just twigs and berries, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, we talked about how you kind of got into wrestling. Why don't maybe you give us a little lowdown on how you got into maybe electronic music? Obviously, you've been into hip hop most of your life.
Mm-hmm.
What was the catalyst for you as far as getting into dance music and saying, "Hey, I want to be a dance music DJ"?
So this is funny. I was playing baseball. I think I was 19. I was playing in the West Coast League. We were in Kelowna, Canada. Drinking age in Canada is 19.
Okay.
So it's like, hell yeah, we got a road trip in Canada for a week. We're going to get wrecked.
Yeah.
Right? This is a funny story. Not a lot of people know this. So we went to this bar called Cheetahs, which is like Hell's Angels, like clubhouse, and it's owned by them.
Sounds like a titty bar.
It was. So it's like a club and a strip club, right? And at the time, I was very engulfed in these drinks called Incredible Hulks.
Oh, boy.
Which we've spoken about, which is, if you don't know, it's Hypnotic, Hennessy, and Mountain Dew, which is like...
Type 3 diabetes.
So I was like, yo, we're just downing them. And I'm like 10 drinks in, right? And I meet this girl. Her name's Gina. I haven't talked to her in a long time, but like she still is. We'll get there. So, and she's like, yo, I'm going to take you to this techno club. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but you're hot. Like, let's go. I'm 19 years old. I don't care what's going on. I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
We go, and I'm just like, yo, this shit's crazy. Blah, blah, blah. The music, the lights. I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. And she's like, yeah, this is Tiesto. That's song right now. And now this is Deadmau5. And she like schooled me on like the OGs of dance music. Cascade and all this. So like, it's hilarious. So I went back, right? I was like, I got to be back by a certain time because they do room checks, right? Like, I got to be back by 2. I was so trashed. I passed out halfway in the doorway of the hotel room with the door open, like leaning on me. And my coach found me there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I was wrecked, right? But I was like, this is the most lit thing ever, right?
Off the blue.
Yeah, so like, wakes me up, get the hell in there, blah, blah. Dude, I wear contacts. I slept with my contacts in. The next day, I'm like obsessed with this music. I'm looking all this shit up in the morning, and I'm like, yo, Deadmau5 is playing on the beach today in Kelowna, Canada.
Oh, shit.
So I asked my coach, and I'm like, yo, I'm not pitching today. Like, can I go? And he looks at me, he goes, are you an idiot? No way. Like, you got to be at the game. And I was like, all right, whatever. Dude, this is crazy. My parents were there that weekend, fortunately. Because I fell asleep with my contacts in my eyes, I got pink eye.
No shit.
Yeah, I was like in the outfield during batting practice.
You sure it wasn't Gina? Damn,
Yes,
Gina.
I'm positive.
Okay.
So
I'll take your word
I
on it.
passed out in the hotel room doorway by myself. Let me
Damn.
just make that clear.
Okay.
So, we're in the outfield. I'm like trying to like field fly balls and shit during batting practice, and I like, can't see. Like the light is so powerful. I'm like, oh. And, like they take me to the doctor, and they're like, oh, you got pink eye, right? And that's how dance music started for me.
Okay, fair enough. Now you're like, I just got to double down on Deadmau5 now, or what? Like,
Dude, we got to listen. We could hear the show from the field.
Oh, wow.
It was so
Okay.
cool, you know. And then I was obsessed. Like we went back to Washington. I started studying all of it. I found Tiesto's Power Mix, and then I went to school 2 years later at this school in Oklahoma. Met this kid named Calvin. He's like, yo, let's go to this festival called Nocturnal Texas. And I was like, all right, whatever. Dude, it was this massive rave. Like, the one in Texas doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 40,000 people in the middle of nowhere. And, dude, like, Avicii, Green Velvet, Porter Robinson,
Thanks.
Armin, like the OGs.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I was like, all right, I want to do this. And I drove home the next day. I downloaded Virtual DJ.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people start their journey with Tiesto or, one of the bigger guys and then kind of dive down the rabbit hole. For me, it was before I left for basic training, and I was in bands and shit, and one of my buddies was like, oh, you got to come out and check this out. And I just saw this one dude up there on the stage, and he was, controlling this whole vibe, and it was in this terrible warehouse in Chicago, fucking 2 inches of water on the floor. It was just ghetto, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do, man.
Like that grungy, grimy vibe, and it was just like everyone's so happy at these shows. You're like, yo, like I want to control the party.
Yeah.
It's like I can literally. This is gonna sound weird. I was like, I can control the people in this crowd to like do whatever I want them to, and they're gonna have the best time ever. That sounds tight.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Well, when you actually do it and you actually tap in, maybe you can identify with this. I always tell people, I feel like when you're really crushing it, whether it's open format, whether it's house music, there's almost this vibe in the center of the room. It's almost a spiritual experience. Do you feel the same
It's like
thing?
an aura.
Yeah.
You know, you feel this energy. It's like when you play base. That's how I explain it. When I'd be pitching and playing baseball, you get like this tunnel vision, like nothing else exists. It's like that, but like with the crowd.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, whoa, nothing else in the world is even there anymore. It's just like you and the crowd and the music, and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'll play these huge festivals, and the set will be like an hour, and people will be like, yo, how was it? And I'll be like, I don't really remember past the first 5 minutes. And they're like, what? Because like, I wasn't drunk. I don't drink or anything. They're like, yeah, I blacked out. I was just like so into it that I don't really remember what happened, but it seemed tight.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I know the last time that I played over at Sun was the first time I played at Sun Bar right before I left for vacation last. I was in it, and I was so, I got on there, and I had never used the 3000s before. I tried messing around with the 3000s, but I hated them because, I'm an open format guy. I like to scratch a little bit with shit, and I got up there, and there was 3000s. I'm like, oh shit, I got to figure this out. And then the sync button was on. Couldn't figure out how to turn that motherfucker off. So
worst.
yeah, it was terrible as far as that goes. But then there was like 5-10 minutes into it. I'm hearing the crowd, and I'm like, look up. And I looked up, and then everybody's like, ah. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is tight. You got to remember to almost tell yourself to have fun sometimes and live in that moment,
Well, because a lot of times you get so wrapped into, like, mixing that you sometimes forget there's even a crowd there.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be so aware of what's going on that you have to look up and be like, oh, yeah, you guys are, like, paying attention to what I'm doing. I forgot you're here.
For sure. And that's got to be a weird feeling, too. I mean, you got out bangers right now. You got out genuine fans. It's got to be an almost like backhanded, not backhanded, but a weird feeling to work so hard for so long and then all of a sudden break through and kind of start to see, the fruits of your labor paying off. Your new merch drop just sold out in like hella fast, right?
Yeah, 24 hours.
And you're designing all that kind of stuff. You're behind all the merch. Or?
So like I came up with the concept. It's the less internet, more music T-shirts, and came up with the concept, came up with the design. Literally, I mean, we were here last week, last minute, printing the new ones, which is this color. I think I was like, all right, Daniel, I have this idea. We like honed it in because it was like a longer term. There was like more words to it, and we were like, let's just keep it as simple as possible, right? Got the design, found the manufacturer, toured the warehouse. I tried like probably 4 or 5 different shirts just to get the materials right. Had them printed. Literally spent the last 2 days packaging, writing all the addresses, everything. Like I did it old school style on purpose. I wanted the first drop to be like sentimental and have like more value to it, to be like, yo, I put in like the sweat on this drop to let you guys know I really care.
That's cool.
Like no one knows yet. They'll get the shirts before this, but like the first one, like I printed out this letter, right? I had it written, had the like a letterhead designed with my logo, and had it written out. Let those people know like you're gonna get access to the next drop first before everyone. Yeah. Signed it and then folded it into 3s, wrote everyone's name on it, put it in the envelope with the shirt.
That's a beautiful little touch.
It's just like I feel like I'm very thankful that those people purchased something that I put my time into. Yeah. And I want to show them that I'm thankful for that.
That's pretty cool. And I think a lot of younger DJs miss that part of grinding it out, paying for your education. Ben came over the other day, helped him with some new prints and stuff. He's like, "Damn, man, you're whatever the hell you said. You got all
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, right?" And it's like only because I've been in that position and I wanted to learn how to do these things. I want to know, dude. One time I went with Hardwired and got up there at like 6-7 in the morning just because I wanted to see what it was like for these guys to build a stage. Yeah, and that shit is difficult. I mean, those boys bust their balls. There's fucking dudes sleeping in hammocks under the stage, sweating. Whoa. I was out there. I built it all the way from the truss, running the wires, taping the wires. That goes up. Build the video wall. You know what I mean? It was interesting to see, and I've done that a ton throughout my career, just to know what the people around me go through and what it takes. And I think that's awesome that you do that. So
thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Like, dude, I started this as a promoter, handing out flyers, like people spitting on me at ASU. Like, I'll never forget. Like, I'm handing out like Hardwell show flyers, right? And the ASU kids are like, "Fuck you," like spit on you and shit. And I'm just like, I'm literally just trying to get paid, bro. Just like take the piece of paper.
For sure. I mean, and a lot of people don't realize that, yeah, that's how you used to do parties back in the day was,
Yeah.
I mean, literally ground and pound. We called it guerrilla marketing. And I would go, back in the day, I was doing 18 plus stuff, and I would take my team and we'd literally walk into the Manzanita dorms or whatever the hell it was called.
Yep.
And take the elevator all the way to the top. And somebody would take one side, I would take the other side, and we would under every door. And sometimes they would come out and be like, fuck you putting stuff under my door, you know?
Be
but
all pissed.
trying to get paid, baby. You know what I
It's
mean?
like I'm just doing my job. Like I don't bitch at you for doing your job.
For sure, dude. For sure. So I was trying to think about. I try to keep it as free form as possible here when I have guys over, but rarely people are as strange as you and and let me on to their sicknesses as well as mine. Hopefully I don't piss you off here. My man is very into serial killers.
Yes.
Is that
That's
fair
okay.
to share?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's okay.
Now I recently saw a meme or something that said a study shows that if you're into serial killers, it's a giant red flag. Would you agree with that? Are you a red flag?
Maybe that's why I'm single.
That's fair. So
You
you
know,
heard it, ladies.
that's why nothing can ever last. For me.
Fleeting.
No, like I can explain why actually.
Sure, please do. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I was a pre-law major.
Okay.
Right? I wanted to be a defense attorney. So like I wanted to defend criminals, I guess, for like and try and get them out of trouble. Like if it's kind of a moral thing because it's like, well, what if they're fucking guilty? Well, all right, that's kind of fucked up. Like I don't want to I didn't want to do fucking murder cases.
Right.
I was never wanting to do that, you know, but like I wanted to try and help people out who like might actually be innocent
Sure.
and like do that type of thing. And I was super into law and the psychology behind it.
Okay.
Right? So my favorite class ever was forensic psychology when I was in school.
What's forensic psychology?
So basically it's crime scene shit, right? So it's going to the crime scenes, picking all the pieces apart, figuring out why this particular person may have done what they did.
Okay.
You know, so what are the clues? What are they doing? Like, okay, did they leave fingerprints? What were they thinking? Was there a motive behind it? Did it happen randomly? You know? And it's like, in a lot of ways, it like relates to music because you're putting the pieces together and you're trying to solve this thing.
Reverse engineering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, huh, interesting. So when I was in this, I was like, okay, from a psychology standpoint, who are the most fucked up people? And I was like, serial killers.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why do they tick? Why do they do this type of thing? Did they have childhood trauma? So like, I don't want to say I'm into serial killers, right?
I would say you're into serial killers.
But I'm into like the psychology behind it. You know, like I want to understand that type of thing and be like, yo, why do these people tick this way they do? You know, it's almost like, okay, why do people like my music for the reason that they do?
Sure.
How does it connect with them? What type of feelings do they feel? It's the same type of thing, but with a different type of medium.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's a whole ass lane of true crime and all that stuff. It's really interesting to me how the people around them generally just make all kinds of excuses. I mean, like, you know, Dahmer's eating booty hole over here, and the friggin' the lady. You know, how many times do they knock on the door and it smells like fucking decaying bodies, and yet they still allowed this guy to keep going and going and going. And that's interesting, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a pre-law guy. Shout out to all the defense attorneys. One thing they don't tell a lot of people is that to become a defense attorney, most of the time you have to become a prosecutor first. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true. A lot of times you have to work for the other side of the justice system. But it also depends. Like, say you get an internship at a certain firm and they do criminal law and things of that sort. Like, okay, you might not have to become a prosecutor because you could get hired at a firm right away. You know, I don't think legally you have to be a prosecutor first.
I think it depends where you're. I thought that was like a bar thing. You had to like.
It might be. I never made it that far. I didn't end up finishing school. So.
Yeah, I got combat boots. I didn't necessarily get a college degree. So.
But like, I could see that. Honestly, I feel like as a prerequisite to being a defense attorney, you should be a prosecutor. So then you know both sides of it. I think that might make you a better attorney because you know that side of the law. Like, all right, what are they going to try and do? And like, dude, being an attorney is like a lot of it's being a mind fuck. You know, it's like, all right, how can I convince this jury of people to believe my story?
Right.
You know, and like,
based upon this discovery of evidence. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, how can they believe my story, and how can I prove that the other person's story is wrong? It's very interesting, and it's something that's like, I don't know, it always interested me. Everyone's always like, oh, being an attorney, just arguing.
Not really.
Not really at all. It's actually putting an entire case. It again relates to music, right?
Yeah.
Which is, for example, say you have this crime, right? And say you have this music. And say you're defending the case, right? So this is like your rollout. How are you rolling out this case to prove your point and be like, hey, judge, this is why this person is innocent. So like if you relate it to music, it's like, all right, hey, fans, here's the music. Here's the rollout. Here's why I think you should listen to it.
Yeah.
Same type of
It's
thing.
like a DJ set where you kind of, okay, cool, I'm going to rock this, this, and this, and then this is going to be the crescendo, and then we're going to out with this. Yeah, I just watched that one movie, or it was a series with the Olsen sister, the Olsen whoever it is, and it was like they were living in Texas, and it was an interesting situation. She admitted to murdering this person, and she ended up getting off because the attorney sorted her out. It was an interesting experience.
It's funny how that all works.
So shout out to good attorneys because we all fucking need one. That's for sure. So I know some of your musical influences. You're a big Nipsey Hussle guy, right?
Yeah, we got the tattoos.
Oh, you got the tats. Okay.
And the TMC right here.
There you go. Yeah, who's right now currently who are you listening to? Who you rocking with right now?
Who was I listening to on the way here? This dude named Harper. He's like similar to like Suicide Boys.
Okay.
Literally just discovered him today. Dude, I listened to a lot of like East Coast shit. I listened to the new Conway album recently, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, a lot of underground shit I listened to.
You're an East Coast guy yourself, right?
Yeah, my dad's side of the family is from up near Buffalo.
Okay.
So like all those guys are Buffalo rappers, you know, like I've been listening to like a lot of Dave East. For some reason, I really liked the new Lil Durk album.
Okay.
I don't listen to a lot of Durk, but I was like, yo, this shit's gangster.
Yeah, the beats slap. It's raw. I mean, those guys are really about that action. You know what I mean? Like they're
real.
not fucking around for sure.
You know? And I think that's like, this is something like I study too. Is like I studied that whole aspect of like where Durk is from, and like that whole crew. And then I listened to the music. And if you actually study the stories and everything behind it, you're like, okay, now I get it. You actually, because like I like to study music in that sense, which is kind of fucked up because now I like stop listening to it. I'm like, all right, I'm listening to it, trying to learn something, and I'm not just listening to it.
Analyzing it, breaking it down. Yeah, those dudes are from like 15 minutes where I grew up. I mean, different neighborhood, obviously, but still went to school with a lot of those folks. So, what was I? Okay, let's talk about your choice in sports. Since you're an East Coast guy, I know that you came over here the other day. You got on the Pirates. I think you guys just took an L to the D-backs recently. We're not going to sit here and bust your balls about that. You're a Bills fan, right?
Through and through.
Okay.
Bills Mafia. Like, we're jumping through flaming tables and shit.
Oh, shit. Okay, is that because Pops, or just put that?
So, like, we'll start with baseball.
Okay.
Right? I'm a Pirates fan. Like, dude, my dad has a newspaper from, like, 1970 where he's, like, on the front page on this dude's shoulders in Three Rivers Stadium when they won the pennant. Like, it goes back. So, like, I was born into these teams and have, like, stayed loyal. So, like, my dad was born in Pittsburgh, lived there till he was 5. So, like, that's where we get the Pirates from.
Copy.
I've endured a lot of pain due to them.
Oh, yeah.
I've endured more pain from the Bills.
It's another one. I got a few homies that are Bills fans. So
It's like I have some stories. Like, I was born into being a Bills fan. I'm loyal to a fault, right? Like, if I was to go home and tell my dad, like, yo, I'm a Cubs fan.
Why you got to bring up? Why was it Cubs fan? Go ahead. What were you gonna say if you went home and told me you're a Cubs?
I'd be taken out of the will.
I'm gonna let you have that one.
But here's something you could agree to.
Okay.
If I really went home, because I was getting there, right? It gets worse.
Sorry.
If I was getting there and I told my dad I was a Reds fan, he'd probably leave me in the ditch behind the house.
Have someone else dig the hole.
Yes.
Yeah. What about basketball?
I'm a Suns guy. I'm a Suns fan for
Okay.
sure. You know, it's like there's no basketball teams near where he lives, you know? But like honestly, I'm a Suns fan, but I'm not the biggest basketball guy. Like, I'm hardcore for the Bills.
Okay.
Like, I've formed relationships with like the Bills and stuff like that, and just like it goes back, and like that's my roots, you know. So it's like I think I'm gonna go to like 4 or 5 games this year.
Oh shit. Okay.
Which will be great. Like, I
you
know
travel. You go to the game specifically.
Oh hell yeah! Like,
Okay.
I know we're going to the one against the Chargers in LA. I'm taking my dad for Christmas because it's like the 23rd, so it's the day before Christmas Eve.
That's dope.
I think I'm gonna go to the opening game against the Jets in New York City, because you got Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen,
Okay.
You know, because Aaron Rodgers is now on the Jets, and we're going to beat the shit out of him, and it's going to be redemption for last year.
Okay.
I was at the Jets game. They played in Jersey last year, and they lost. But here's what's fucked up. I went to 2 games last year, and they lost both. Right?
Yeah.
Every time I go to the game, they lose. So my dad's literally like, yo, dude, you have to stop. Like, you can't go anymore. Like, he's like, you're coming home after the show on Saturday, and you're watching the game at the house.
Yeah.
You aren't going anymore.
You can't have it.
I'm like, nah, dude. So I think I'm going to go to that. I think I'm going to go to the Commanders game. Then, here's the cool one.
Okay.
So I have a run of shows in October. It starts in East Haven, which is that New Hampshire?
I think so. I couldn't point out New Hampshire on a map if you put a gun to my head. But.
All right, it goes East Haven, then it's somewhere in Connecticut.
Okay, I was going to say Connecticut.
And then the third show, like I'm going to rent a car. I'm going to fly to New York, rent a car and drive to all these shows. Mm-hmm. And then the third one on the Saturdays in Saratoga Springs, New York, which is a 4-hour drive from Buffalo.
That's west, right?
Yeah, okay. So Buffalo will be west.
Okay.
Right? Even further west.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go that Sunday. They're playing the Giants for Sunday Night Football, so it's going to be a big game. I'm going to go to that game in Buffalo.
Right on.
Because all the other ones are like away games.
Yeah, my dad, I went recently, last year, went to a game with him. He's a Vikings fan. He grew up a Vikings fan. He's from Minnesota and all over. And it was interesting, man. I mean, that dude called every shot. He's like, yeah, the Vikings suck. We need to kick. We're going to lose by 1. And I mean, literally all the way down to the last point. He called it. And he, you know, one of the things he taught me, never bet on the Chicago Bears. So I didn't really catch that. The Chicago Bears bug, so I'm a Cardinals fan.
The Bears suck.
Yeah, they're terrible, man. I mean, you know, the only thing that was cool about the Bears was the Super Bowl Shuffle, and that was in 1985. So
yeah, we beat the shit out of the Bears last year on Christmas Eve. It was great.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. But I am a Bulls fan, and, you know, secondary, I am a Suns fan. I really want the Suns to win for our city, and I really want that to happen. But, man, it's just frustrating. We keep seeming like we're going to have a good team, and then, you know, it kind of tanks. But
here's the thing, though. The Suns got Kevin Durant with like 17 games left in the regular season last year, right? If you think about it, championship teams never form like that, right? You need a full season to play. You have to have because I played sports. Mm-hmm. You have to have a vibe with the team, you know? And I think there was like internal issues and shit too. Like I think Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton hated each other.
Sure. Which
is a problem because Ayton would just like quit on the team. And we know he's not as soft as he's been playing. I will say that publicly. You know?
I think the organization itself, you know, has some issues. And I've known some folks some dudes that played for the team, and they've told me some inside stuff and that. But, you know, I just don't get the Suns and why they, you know, keep bringing up old shit. Like, they're the only team that I know that'll throw a commemorative night and release a T-shirt for the time they came in second place to the Bulls. You know what I mean? Fuck, part of the game is that, guys. Like, let's just get
That's part of losing.
Is having a second place T-shirt? Like,
no, part of losing is like letting that go.
Yeah, you got to take an L and let it go. But, you know, again, I do want the Suns to win. I do love going to their games. The new stadium and everything, all the renovations are amazing.
It is nice.
I got a bunch of friends that play for the Suns, so please don't flip me off when you see me next.
Dude, this new owner is no joke. Like, he's really trying to win.
Yeah, and he's got the budget. I mean, for sure, that's what you need.
He's putting the money in, and he's like, all right, we got this. So hopefully they come through, and hopefully they can win. Because, like, you know what would be sick? A fucking NBA Finals parade.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what?
Going down Central or some shit like that.
That'd be crazy. It'd be a mob, you know?
Yeah.
You know what's kind of fucked up is, wouldn't it be in the summer?
Yeah, oh yeah, it would be miserable. Yeah, it would be all bad, man. Yeah, well, that's cool, man. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to turn the corner from being somewhat of an open format DJ and lean more towards the electronic side of things. If you're a new DJ kind of coming up, I always tell these young guys, like, man, it's got to be difficult to stand out in this game, right? I mean, you got so many other people, so many dudes, you know, doing the wrist flick thing and all that stuff. Like
the tech house wrist flick.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that
thing. Shit. Why do they do that? And why is there so many fucking dudes on the stage with EDM guys at all times? He's not one of those guys. He's usually got very pretty girls on the stage. You know what I mean? I got to give him his flowers right now. But I do not understand why these dudes love 85 million dudes on the stage at all time.
Okay. I think the reason is because a lot of times it makes it feel like you're more included in the party. Because sometimes you can feel very separated, you know, and like I hate that feeling, especially at festivals when it's like there's no one up there. It's like, yo, like it's hard to catch a vibe when people are 100 feet away from you.
Sure.
You know, like you can tell because the crowd's going to be going crazy, but like I don't think it's necessary to have that many people on the stage. And more often than not, someone on that stage is going to fuck something up.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of those boiler rooms and that stuff where people hit the button. And
Bro, did you see the Kenny Beats one where they were going so crazy? Like, these dudes were jumping and a hole in the floor, like, happened?
No.
There was a hole in the floor, and he'd, like, get on the mic and be like, yo, stay away from the hole in the floor.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw the one where, like, someone grabbed on the front of it and, like, like, pulled the whole thing over. But yeah, I haven't seen that one. It's just interesting to me whenever, back in the day when, you know, I was in a consistent situation to, you know, weekly perform and have all these people in Scottsdale, man, I would kick everyone out of the DJ booth. I mean, I wouldn't even step in the fucking place before kicking everybody out. And I get that. I get that lonely kind of like, I want to connect with the crowd, but at some point I feel like you almost need to separate yourself from the rest and kind of just
do your
plant
own
your
thing.
feet and do your thing. Yeah.
Every now and then, like, I'll have, like, for example, this weekend in Calgary, the festival, nah, no one behind me, you know, like, because, like, the media aspect of it is very important, too. Like, yo, we're, like, getting content for, like, tracks and shit like that, you know? So it's, like, you want it to be right. But then, like, the after party was, like, this, like, 150 cap room that was, like, dark and grungy. I think they literally call it the Deep Down Low. I forget the name of it exactly, but, like, I had, like, 10 people in the booth, and we were all just vibing with the whole crowd, you know? And, like, shit like that's fun when it's, like, a dark, grungy club, you know? But I feel like, back to what you were asking is, like, I think you need to have your own music and you need to have your own sound. Like, everyone wants to jump on these waves and these trains of, like, what's cool. One, that's going to change. And the guys who are the ones that started that are probably already light years ahead on, like, what they're going to do next. Right? So you're catching the end of this train with hopes that, like, all right, hopefully I can get big off this. For me, it's more of, like, I want to create my own vibe and do my own thing and what I feel is right for me. And I think people are afraid of that because it takes longer. And like from a societal standpoint, everyone wants instant gratification these days. So like I've been working at this for 13 years now, right? 2010, I discovered this and was like, all right, this is cool. And it's been my job for November. It'll be 8 years since I've been like doing this professionally.
Full time, yeah.
Yeah. And over time, like everything evolves, but I feel like if you stay authentic and true to like who you are and like your music, that's going to take you further than anything.
Sure.
Like you see these guys have one big hit and like then they fizzle out, you know, like, yeah, they're still making money and shit like that. But like, to me, that's not that cool. Like I saw a Tiesto interview and he was like, just little baby steps. You just want to get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, you know?
Yeah.
And like, he somehow found a way to do that.
These guys keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. He like every couple of years he'll have another hit, you know? And it's just,
so it sounds like, I mean, you've said this now a couple times, embrace those subtleties, embrace those losses, embrace the things that are going to teach you to regroup and come back stronger. And, you know, I've always said this industry is extreme highs, extreme lows. And if you can't figure out, if you live for the cheers, you'll die by the booze.
literally.
Right?
Literally. You know, because you have to find a way to stay level-headed like we were talking about. Like, the adrenaline rush from those shows is insane. It's like you're on fucking crack. Like, literally, you know, like, I joke around about, like, crack and shit like that on the internet and stuff like that, but, like, yo, the adrenaline rush is, like, that's why I say it. Like, no, I do not smoke crack, all right?
For sure.
Stop asking. People ask me that, like, bro, do you really smoke crack? Absolutely fucking not, right? The adrenaline rush that I get from these shows is literally like I'm on crack because I'm so hyped up, like, that's why I take 6 a.m. flights home because I can't sleep.
I understand.
Because
totally.
after the show, the adrenaline is so high that, like, you can't relax. So it's tough. I think that's why people, like, I haven't experienced this, but, like, people, when they're DJing, like, drink themselves so heavily, they drink themselves to sleep. So they go back to the fucking hotel room and they pass out.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of it.
Well, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, even, you know, socially, do you feel that pressure? I mean, do you feel like, you know, because you're a pretty popular guy, do you feel that pressure to, you know, after the show kind of fuck, man, I don't want to stay around. I kind of want to just need some peace and quiet. But do you feel that pressure to go out there and shake hands, kiss babies, that kind of thing?
After every single show, I will take pictures with as many people as they want. Because if you think about it, these people came specifically to see me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone, and I know this has happened because they've told me, someone could have spent their last dollar to come to the show to see you play, right?
Yep.
I want to give them the best possible experience that they can have. And if someone's going to take, literally, like, financially deplete themselves to spend 2 hours with me, I want to make sure that they have an amazing time.
Absolutely.
You know, so I will never rush out of the club. I mean, unless I literally have to go to the airport to get on a flight, which does happen. But, like, I will stick around as long as they want, and I will take as many photos as possible. Like, I think, when was it? On Saturday, the after party, I was supposed to only play from, like, 12:30 to 2. I think I went on at 12:30. I ended up playing till, like, 2:45. You know, and they were like, oh, we're going to keep it open till 2:30. I was like, sick. I'm literally going to keep playing until you kick me off.
For sure.
Right? Like, we ended it, and the dude was like, one more, the dude in charge. And I was like, are you sure? Because the other lady was like, no, you can't play anymore. And I was just like, fuck it. And I get on the mic, and I was like, well, they're trying to make me stop, but I think we're just going to keep going. Right? And people were so hyped.
That's tight.
You know, like, those are the things that people remember. Like, yo, like, that dude just kept playing when the lights were on. They turned the lights on me once, and I literally stopped the music and got on the mic, and I was like, yo, turn the lights off. People were like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
They're fucking going crazy. And I was like, I literally get goosebumps, like, thinking about it.
They want you to be a part of it, man. They want you to be with them, for sure.
So it's like, stuff like that I think is just so important. Like, I hate that shit when someone's like, I'm too cool, like, I can't take pictures with the people who came to the show.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're literally just a person. Like, you're not cooler than anyone else in that crowd.
I've heard a few stories talking to Thomas, and I'm not going to mention any names of who they're about. But, you know, I've asked, hey, man, I would love to meet this person. And he's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, really? He's like, trust me, there's a story of this guy. And he's saying, hey, you're an inspiration to me. And the guy just looks at him and goes, neat.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, what? Those people are Dasani water.
Arrowhead, bro. That shit tastes terrible.
Bro, Dasani's worse.
Is it?
Yeah, man. Look at the chemicals.
I only drink Voss or Fiji. You know I'm high. You know what I mean? Highbrow. So,
Mountain
tell
Valley,
us about
baby.
your Mountain Valley spring water here. Maybe we can get you later.
So I've been on a fuck Dasani binge lately.
Okay.
And I think every airport in the whole world should get rid of it. I'm not anti-Coca-Cola or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm anti-negligence, right?
Warren Buffett would hate that statement.
Well, guess what? I ain't got nothing to do with Warren Buffett.
Straight up.
So, he ain't got nothing to do with me.
Fuck Warren Buffett.
So, I mean, the thing is, like, Dasani, that shit tastes like pennies. Like, it tastes like I'm drinking metal.
Oh, straight up. Like when you drink Fiji, you can like it tastes like you're like throating a silk scarf or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
you know, like, you feel like you just lived your dreams when you drink Fiji, but like Mountain Valley, like, this is in glass.
Yeah.
And like, you can't go wrong with this. This is authentic, as it says. Like,
There's a difference. There's a difference between drinking things out of aluminum, and I'm doing some research. I'm starting a little company with a friend of mine, and we're working on some margarita mix for low sugar and whatever. And I didn't realize how much actually goes into preserving the things. If you put a highly acidic something in a can, it could eat through the can. So I mean,
you got to get BPA-free plastic. Like,
sheesh, this guy knows his shit.
Dasani does have BPA-free plastic, but they don't filter the water with anything. So it's basically essentially drinking tap water. What if you get it from a fucked up source? I know this comes from a mountain valley.
That's what it says. I don't know if it
You know,
does.
this is bottled in the Wichita Mountains.
Wichita Mountains.
You know, and here's the thing. Like, let's check this out. I have a rich, unique blend of minerals in this, right? Dasani can't say that.
Bro, that's mineral water.
This is
it's
authentic mountain valley water, you
Mineral
know? So it's like true spring water.
But without the gas. Because I just got back from Europe, and them
Yeah.
fuckers drink everything has gas in like bubbles in it, and it's all mineral water.
No,
but
this is flat.
okay.
This is flat. This is, in my opinion, the best water you can get. It says right here, America's premium since 1871.
So if it says it on the bottle, it's got to be.
Here's what's fucked up, too.
What?
Fuck smart water as well.
Oh.
I'll tell you why.
Why you got beef?
All right, so all they do with smart water is inject some shit in there to give it like a better pH and a better flavor. And if you notice, right, smart water is also a Coca-Cola product, right? Coca-Cola, I have nothing against you. Just make better water. But What they do is
0-2 for Coca-Cola.
yeah, what they do is, and I realized this weekend when I was in the airport, I was like, yo, Dasani's right there. And I was like, damn, Smart Water's right next to it. They inject this shit in there and call it Smart Water, and then they just upcharge for another shitty water.
Okay.
Yes.
You really dove into this here.
I take water seriously.
Man, I just traveled like 16 hours from Amsterdam, and I absolutely hated the experience. How do you deal with the fucking airports right now? Because man, it's so bad. I mean, I don't want to be the old guy saying it used to be different in my day, but like at the end of the day, like I don't remember it being this bad when we were traveling around. I mean, they lost our luggage. Like what's some travel hacks maybe for some younger DJs? Like what do you do to keep sane, and what do you do to not lose your shit?
Never check luggage.
Okay.
Never. I went to Australia for 3 weeks in a carry-on.
Not in the carry-on, but just with the carry-on.
Not in. Yeah, literally, I have a tour manager for that one, and they put me in the carry-on, and I was in it for 17 hours.
We're gonna have to check that, sir.
Yeah, but never check luggage.
Okay.
It's gonna cost you a little bit more money, right? Mm-hmm. But I would highly recommend picking one airline and consistently flying with that airline, because in the long run, it's gonna maybe not cost more because you're gonna get free flights, you're gonna get free upgrades, you're gonna get loyalty, you're gonna earn status with that airline.
Sure.
And there's a lot of perks from that, like. I get to go to all these lounges. I get to fly first class all the time, which is like cool because guess what? You get served a meal. Now all these DJs are like, well, when am I going to eat? The fucking plane.
Yeah, they have really good food in there too.
Dude, but it's like flights that I think are more than 2 hours between certain times. Like there's so many technicalities so they don't have to feed you.
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
But I'd recommend that.
Okay.
Sleep on the plane as much as you can.
Yep.
Right? Always have an extra charger with you.
Okay.
From a phone standpoint.
And a brick. Power brick.
Yep, 100%.
I think too, for people that aren't flying, but fly less than you would, grab not only is a debit card the worst financial instrument that we have. Stop using your fucking debit card and get a credit card. Use it as your cash card and pay it off.
Earn points.
Earn points. So that's what I do. I have an American card, and everything that I do, all my bills, everything goes on that card, and I pay it off the same way I would use a debit card at the end of the month, which now I've racked up about 300,000 miles.
Yep.
And when we were coming back, the lady said, oh, okay, well, you could go to this lounge over here, or you could go to our flagship lounge. Now, I've never been to the flagship.
Flagship lounge is sick.
Flagship lounge fucks. I fucking go in there. Bro, they had like a jar of all red Starbursts. I started filling up my Gucci bag. They had a whole bar. Not a bartender, a whole bar. I mean, Kettle, Tito's, every vodka, every whiskey. They had sushi. Shit looked like it was sitting out a little longer than I wanted, but they had like curry chicken. They had a full spread, and it was all because I used my card so much that I got these perks now.
Yep.
So
that's like I would also recommend because if you're gonna do this professionally, it's a business, right? So you need an LLC, right, or whatever if you want to get a C corp, whatever is the best thing for you, right?
Yep.
Get yourself a business card, right? So I have mine through Amex. So I get to go to those lounges. Now, those lounges are next level because with those, if you have like the platinum card or higher, you get to go to the Centurion Lounge.
Okay.
Have you been to one of those?
I have not. My guy's got the Amex over here, and he's telling me.
They have gourmet chefs in there.
Just whipping.
It's a different type of food. Like, yeah, it's the same type of serving and all that, but you can get in there and get like short ribs, all this crazy shit.
Oh, yeah.
They serve breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's like certain ones actually have spas in them. You can get like a 20-minute massage. You can get your nails done. Like, it's serious.
Yeah, I saw a couple with showers, and that were not fun.
Oh, yeah, these have showers.
I mean, if you get laid over somewhere, you obviously want to do that.
I spent, I think, 5 hours in the flagship lounge in JFK. Dude, they have different lounges there. They have like the London lounge and this one, like those lounges, next level.
That's exciting.
I walked into there and it was like walking into like Hillstone. That's what it looked like.
Oh shit! Okay.
It was intent, like all like dark wood. It was
It's
epic.
like a full ass lounge.
Yeah, it was insane.
Right on. What's the craziest DM you be getting from chicks, bro?
I get so many unsolicited photos.
Really?
Yes. And I'm just like, here's the thing, right? On the road, I don't really go to the after party. I don't really do that shit on the road. This is my job. Yes, I understand you guys think that I'm this DJ that you love and that I'm going to do some fucking shiesty shit on the road, but that's just not me. I'm a big lover. I like being in relationships.
Sensitive guy.
I am. I'm an emotional, sensitive guy. I'm
wonderful.
a very deep man. And, like, that shit's just not for me. I'm 33 years old now.
I like the way you did that. I really respect the way you did that right now. Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's true. And that's just the way I am, you know? So it's like, these DMs are cool. I appreciate them. But, like, come on, man. Like,
For sure. And then
respect yourself, too.
And then most of them are selling it on OnlyFans. I just saw this thing the other day. This dude was saying, like, so you put the coochie on OnlyFans or whatever. Shit costs $5.99. Netflix costs $11.99. Your shit's worth half the price of Netflix at this point.
Yo,
so I'm not going to pull up on you.
That's crazy.
I mean, respectfully.
Yeah, but I mean, like, being around what I'm around all the time, like, I've definitely been around those types of girls that are, like, very highly touted on OnlyFans that, like, sell their shit for, like, crazy money, you know?
No. Those girls on OnlyFans absolutely get the bag. I'm just talking a little shit there, but you know, it's easy for guys like you, and I mean, even you know, I'm half as attractive as you are, so you know, I definitely get some DMs and you know, continue to send those. But it's easy to turn that shit down when you got your eye on the prize and you got your eye on something else. I mean, you're absolutely crushing right now, and you know, I'm proud of you, man, and the city's proud of you. So, what's next? What's the, you know, you got some new music coming out maybe before we get out of here, and let us know what we can look out for next. Maybe if you want to shout out anybody or plug anybody.
Shout out you first,
my man,
for having me. Always showing love too.
Always, bro.
Ton of new music. Doing stuff with Monster Cat right now. Got a release this month with Honey and Badger.
Okay,
which is called Daybreak. Dude, the Drezzo collab's finally coming out.
Love Drezzo.
It's like years in the making. It's like two AZ boys.
That's
you know?
amazing, yeah.
So like, dude, the first guy to, not the first, but like when I signed with my agent, Dre was also with Rob, and he never let anyone play support for him, and I was like the first one who got to play support for Dre on tour. So this is like full circle, you know, which is cool. And him and I are really close. Martin Horger collab, got a bunch of shit on Nightbase coming. I got a new label on the way.
Oh, okay.
And this is the first time I'm publicly saying that.
Wow, you heard it here first. New label on the way.
You know,
what's the label called?
I can't
do it yet.
I
All
can't
right,
do that yet.
That's
you know,
coming up.
But it's like it's different, and I'm building something very, very culturally fun.
Okay.
You know, and it's going to be something that's almost like an exclusive club. You know, and like you can't really. I don't want to say you can't be a part of this because I never want to exclude anyone, but like the relationships I've formed over the years, it's like, okay, we're going to have a squad, and this squad is going to be close and tight-knit, and we're going to do some real-ass shit.
That's dope.
And it's going to be something that I think is going to be very exciting. We're still pushing D&D very heavily. Got a bunch of new music on there coming out. Just on a new Corrupt UK record, which is insane. I literally played it for the first time this weekend and got a ton of people DMing me and be like, yo, what record is this? What record is this? And I'm like, all right, this is a good sign.
Yeah.
More music with Fresh. I got an EP I'm finishing up.
People say I look like Fresh, or we look like brothers, or he looks like me or something. Do you see that or no?
If you had glasses on, a little bit, but no, like since I know both of you, you're two different people.
All right, people send me shit all the time. Like, thought this was you, bro. So shout out to Fresh.
Yeah, I mean he's a good looking man.
Yeah.
And dude, we're just on the road nonstop. You know, I got like between now and the end of the year, like 50 shows.
Congratulations, man. That's
Thanks.
amazing. Yeah. I definitely know a lot of rappers. I hate the word rapper, but I don't know why I said that. But hip hop artists, and you know, I would love to do something with you in the future. So I'll definitely be submitting to the new label.
Send the records.
Yeah, you heard it here first, man. New label coming out from Bijou. Want to personally thank you for coming over, man. I know you're a busy guy, and
Thanks for having me.
You can do a million people's podcasts, and I really appreciate you, and I love you for doing this, man.
Love you too. Mountain Valley forever.
Hell yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Please leave the DJ alone. Episode 4, DJ Bijou. Tune in. More hot shit coming next time.